the front of the van you have your jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. We'll demonstrate these to you in person here on site. In the front locker you have your 2 gas bottle tie downs, and we have the gas pipe work available here on site should you need to buy it, and also gas bottles again should you need to buy them. In the front locker you'll find your motor mover brace, which we'll demonstrate to you in person here on site as well. You carry a maximum of 2 6kg propane gas bottles on board the van at any point. Coming down the side of the van, you've got your heating and hot water flue, which is very simply there to allow the heating system to breathe. You will need to make sure this is never covered up when you're using the heating and hot water systems, as it can cause problems with the heating and hot water systems if it is covered. You've then got your water pump connection coming out the side of the van here, which you simply pull out to release and push in to lock in place, and you use the grey cap here to lock it into position. The pickup pipe drops down inside the ag roll, and it needs to be fully submerged prior to turning the water pump on. If it isn't fully submerged, you will draw air up from the barrel up into the caravan, and it will cause an airlock in the water system. You've then got your battery box. The battery's just been put on to demonstrate everything is working as it should, and so we can demonstrate the self-leveling. You've then got your mains power lead coming in from the power on site, and in that locker as well you've got your motor mover power switch, which we'll come back to shortly. Storage locker on the side of the van. You've then got the motor mover and wheel nuts. The motor mover will demonstrate here on site, and we'll also torque the wheel nuts to the correct settings. We've then got the toilet flush tank, or toilet tank down the back here, which you'll release by opening up the locker. You'll pull up the orange handle and pull the cassette towards you. The orange neck here turns out 90 degrees, so you can tip the waste away. The grey cap is a measure for your pink and your blue fluid. And then the orange button is a pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away, it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. Inside this cassette, you'll need to put 1 litre of water and a capful of the blue fluid prior to use. You've got self-leveling all the way around, which we'll demonstrate in a moment. Then coming around the back of the van, you've got a storage locker on the far side of the van for underneath the beds at the side of the caravan. You've got your 2 fridge vents. The 2 fridge vents are very simply there to allow the hot air at the back of the fridge unit and to take some cool air in. Then got a storage locker for underneath the front seating area and your barbecue gas point at the front. You've then got your self-level inside the caravan. So to operate the self-leveling, you press the power button, and to get the legs to come up, you press the bottom one here on the right hand side, and the legs will start retracting. You'll see the legs coming up. And they'll retract into their position, and also the 2 rams in the centre will also come up then. I'll show you how to put them down in a moment once it's gone through its procedure. So it's just going through the final part of the procedure. We're pulling up the central legs. In a moment the beeping will stop, and that is when you can go into the caravan again. But to put the legs down, you need to come inside. Again, you turn on the control panel here, then you'd hit the down button just here, and that will allow the legs on the caravan to go down and for the caravan to be stabilised. As we come into the caravan, on the left hand side here, you'll find your main control panel. So this is your main power button just here for the power on and off. So power on. The rest of the switches around are for your light switches, for the heating and hot water systems on board the caravan. You then got your water pump run, which I'm going to come back to in a moment. You've got your voltmeter for the 12 volt battery on board the caravan, and then you've got the percentage for the onboard water tank just here. And again, that will bring up the levels on board the caravan of the water tank on board the van. Once the caravan is level, you can turn this control panel back off with the button on the top right hand side here, just so it isolates the power to the control panel for the motor for the self-leveling. Once all of that is done, we're going to come underneath the seat on the front right hand side of the van, and the first thing we're going to have a look at once the power is turned on is to make sure we've got mains power coming into the caravan. So we're going to hit the test switch here on the control box. When this switch drops down to the bottom position, it means there is mains power coming into the caravan from the caravan site you are on. If it stays in the upright position, it means there is no mains power coming into the caravan from the caravan site you're on. At the bottom, you've got your 12 volt fuses for the 12 volt systems on board the caravan. And again, they are just there to control the 12 volt systems, but they have got an individual marking down the bottom what they're for and what size fuse it should be in it along the top. Also in this cupboard you'll find your yellow drain down valve. Now that yellow drain down valve needs to be flat with the floor to allow you to fill the water system up, and upright and pointing towards the bottom of the seat to drain the water system down. So with that yellow valve flat with the floor, we can come over to every tap on board the caravan and open them all up on the hot side of the water system. So this is to fill the hot water tank rather than the storage tank. To fill the storage tank, you need to come underneath the beds at the rear of the caravan. I'm not sure which one it's under. So one of these two. And you'll find, just down the back here, when I pull this out, give me a second, you will find your water storage tank for the caravan. Now on the side of this tank there is a blue valve. To have the valve in the closed position, it means you'll be able to fill this water tank up. If it says open, and that's easy and that's visible to read, it means it will drain the onboard water tank down. Now whichever way you fill this system, like I said, all the taps need to be open on the hot side of the water system to allow it to be primed. So what we do is, with the water butt connected on the with the ACROL connected on the outside, if you want to fill the internal water tank on board the caravan, you'll need to put this switch here into the upright position. So that's your internal fill, so that will fill the onboard water storage tank, and you'll turn on your water pump. To fill the from the external supply to the hot water tank, so you're not using the onboard water storage tank, you'll put the switch into the down position and turn the water pump on. Then once the water system is completely full, you'll have water running out of every tap continuously on board the caravan, as we have now. Once that water system is completely full, we can shut all of the taps back off, and then we can start thinking about warming the water on board the van. So the system's full, all the taps are shut. We're going to come over to our Aldi heating and hot water control panel. You've got your power button here for the control panel, so you've got power off and power on for your heating and hot water. We're going to wait for the screen to load up. Top left hand side, you've got your heating pump to let you know the heating and hot water system, the heating system is working. And on the right hand side, you've got an indicator, so you've got mains power coming to your control panel. Then you've got the internal temperature of the caravan below that. Hit the menu button and it will take us into our options. We've got minus or plus for your room temperature. Obviously the higher you go with this, the hotter the heating system will be. Below that you have your hot water option, so when this bar is completely empty, it means hot water is turned off. You have hot water on when this bar is halfway up, and you have hot water boost when this bar is completely full. Below that you have the amount of power coming into the caravan from the caravan site you're on. So you have the heating and hot water off if this is off, and you also have the blue icon here for the gas. You've got the option of 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts for the heating and hot water. Obviously the higher you have this setting, the more efficient the heating and hot water systems will be. The lower it is, it will take longer to warm up and it won't be quite as efficient. Here on site we can run a maximum of 1 kilowatt, so we have it set to the 1 kilowatt. But if you're not sure what to set this to, ask your site office when you arrive on your holiday and they should be able to let you know what they can supply. At the bottom here you've got your option to run gas, so press the gas option. The gas systems will self-ignite on board the caravan. If it fails to ignite, it will come up with gas fail at the bottom of the screen, indicating a fail to ignite. We have got some advanced settings in this control panel. For these, we do advise you read the manual that comes with the caravan, as they are quite in depth. But if you're not sure how to operate any of these, we do advise you to stick to the standard settings on the home screen here. We're going to go to the fridge next. The fridge is very simple to use. You've got a power button here, so the fridge on. First icon that you see lit up here is 240 mains, and you can control the fridge temperature on the button on the right hand side, and the more bars you have lit up here, the colder the fridge will be. To ignite the fridge on gas, you hit the gas option here. The fridge will self-ignite on gas. If it fails to ignite, it's going to start flashing the blue flame symbol here, and also the red warning triangle on the right hand side. You can control the temperature of the fridge on gas with this button on the right hand side as well, and the more bars you have lit up, the colder the fridge is going to be. You then have your 12 volt mode. The 12 volt mode is from the car you are towing with. It is not from the 12 volt supply on board the caravan. As you can see, it's flashing away there because we aren't currently connected to a car. The microwave is very simple to use. If you need to turn the microwave on, you hit the eco button and then you'll select your time on here and hit the power button. Hob, grill and oven, again, all work very much like your household appliances. No difference at all there. The 240 electric ring will only work when you're connected to mains power. The rest of the hob, grill and oven all works off gas. Coming into the bathroom now, and the last thing we go through, please bear in mind if you've got the heating on, the towel rail will hold a lot of heat, so mind your hands on there. Then you have your electric flush on the toilet here, which runs off the water system on board the caravan. You have a toilet full indicator light that illuminates red just here when the toilet waste cassette is completely full. The toilet seat itself does actually turn for your convenience, as you can see. However, when you're removing the toilet waste cassette from the side of the caravan, it does need to be back in that central position. To allow the waste into the toilet cassette underneath the van, you need to push this handle to the right hand side, and it will allow the waste into the cassette under the van. When you're not using the toilet, you need to have it back in the central position here, which stops any toilet waste from going into the cassette. But it will allow you to remove that toilet waste cassette from the outside of the caravan. So that is the Buccaneer Clipper. If you have any further questions on the caravan, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate your business, and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.